Welcome everybody, New Joker 6 here, and today we're going to take a look at Oberon Prime. Yes, this bad boy himself. The GOAT Lord. So let's go ahead and compare Oberon Prime to Oberon. You see, Oberon Prime has gained an extra 25 base energy and an extra 75 base armor. And in addition, I do believe he gained I think it was 2 dash polarities. So, for me, I've got the same build I had on previously on my original Oberon when I went over the rework and I showed you guys what I did there. I've got the same build going on there. Now, there is some changes that you could make. Now, if you feel that he has enough armor, then you could take Steel Fiber out and you could swap in a Prime Continuity. Actually, I'm kind of curious what that's gonna do here, just to see what a difference that's gonna be. Energy for that actually, like, how does that? So by swapping out your Steel Fiber, you'll take your energy per second to 0.71 with this build if you can give up that armor. That is one alternative. The other alternative is swapping out this fleeting for I'd say Prime Continuity, but mine won't fit. So I'm gonna have to just fit in a normal continuity. But out of curiosity, I will go ahead and pull that out and go like this. So if you do want to use Prime Continuity instead of fleeting, that is going to cost another forma to do so. And that is going to have energy per second of 1.12. So you do get more, or rather you do use more energy by losing the fleeting for the Prime Continuity. Just go ahead and put that back. And if you swap out the Steel Fiber instead, you'll be using less than 1 energy per second. So either one of those are excellent choices now. But personally, this is the way I like it. I'm perfectly fine with this setup. The energy for this is 1.71 per second. Let's go ahead and take a look at the abilities. First ability is Smite with an initial damage, and the orbs do damage, which is based on 35% of the enemy's health on top of a base amount of 500. Next up is Hollowed Ground. It deals damage, it just lays out on the ground. In a radius, it has a chance to cause the radiation status. Here we go. So, this is... it's just that. So you do get a little effect. It's simple to see. And something I do want to note is I'm perfectly fine with my duration. Because for me, that lasts long enough to get any combos off. And it does radiate the enemies just fine. Before anyone wants to leave a comment on that. And like I said, you can make those swaps out to get yourself more duration. Renewal. Now, renewal is an interesting one. Because now it just sends out like this energy pulse type thing. Or energy wave when you use it. And when allies get within range, they do get healed. And this is constant until Oberon runs out of energy. As you see there. Now, the interesting thing is, with that, you can actually... whoops. combo that with the hollowed ground, and as you see there, we got what is called Iron Renewal, which is going to give us even more armor. So just based on this, Oberon would have 225 plus that 330. My build with the steel fiber is 472 plus my 330, so that gives him a total of 802 armor. That is excellent to have in there for especially helping some squishier teammates such as Banshee, for example. Why did I go to appearance? Now, renewal can also slow down the bleed out time, and basically what that's going to do is if your ally is affected and they're bleeding out, it's just going to add a few seconds onto it. And Reckoning does a set amount of damage, and then it deals an amount of extra damage if the enemy is standing on top of hollow ground. It has a 50% chance to drop a health orb if you kill an enemy with it. And if they are, I believe it's if they're radiated. I'm not sure if they have to be on top of hollow ground or just radiated in general, but you can strip armor. It used to strip a percentage of armor based on the armor that is left, but now it strips armor based on the total instead of what's left. So now if you were to use like corrosive projection, it's going to stack on top. And for example, in this case, with what I use, I get a 49% armor reduction. So you'll see, we're going to go in. I'm going to go ahead and get my heals up. I'm going to get my Iron Renewal. I'm going to go in. I'm going to use Smite here. And now I'm going to do my Hollowed Ground. And I'm going to use my Reckoning. That's 49%. 98%, and then this is over 100, and neither of them have any armor left. God, that slow reload on that. But yeah, you can see, so it works just fine. Do I think Oberon really needs a whole lot in the way of changes? Not really. Personally, I'm pretty happy with the way he's turned out with his rework. Energy-wise, I was perfectly fine before with my original Oberon. I wasn't hurting for energy really at any point. There was times where I did get a little energy happy and I'd spam Reckoning like 4 times in a row, and I'd still have a pretty decent amount of energy. So the fact that he's got even more energy now as a Prime, that's just even more beautiful. And then if you take him into the Void, of course, you go to a neat Death Orb, and you're going to get a pulse releasing 250 energy. Personally, I used a Zeneric Focus School with my Oberon. So that allows him to do things like healing the Cryopod, healing allies, unlock instant revives, have a protection ward protecting them from basically all range damage, etc. So I do want to note that I do have one extra thing to boost my Oberon's armor even further, and that is on my Sign Donna. I have an Arcane on it. I have Arcane Guardian on it. So you see on damage, so whenever I take damage, I have a 20% chance of getting a plus 60% of armor. So I am getting pretty much about around 1,000 armor with my Oberon whenever that procs. So I am perfectly fine with that. But just before I ramble on with anything, I'm gonna take out. I'm gonna leave that to you. You can go ahead and judge how you feel about it here. I'm gonna go ahead and just gonna spawn these in. I'm gonna go attack them just using only Oberon's abilities. And with that, take care. See you next time, and happy modding, everyone. Take care.